I'm Maureen Bellatori, and this is Spilled Salt, a podcast on the thrills and spills from the food, beverage, and agriculture industries. Today's guest is Mark Samuel from IWON Organics, and this is a very fast-paced, very high-energy conversation where we talk about his products and sort of what came to launch IWON Organics in the first place and his growth over the last 7 years, as well as a lot of the things that he's personally passionate about. And so that includes not only health and wellness, but also like really bringing people forward. And he's a really big motivator and wants people to truly live a better, healthier life, not only in what they eat and what they're putting in their body and, you know, movement and everything like that, but also from a mental standpoint in terms of mental health as well. So today's conversation is about IWON and Mark's path to entrepreneurship over the last 7 years. Enjoy the conversation. Hey, Mark, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Very good. Thanks for joining me today. I'm glad to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Great. So I'd love to start with a baseline of your experience here for listeners. Can you talk through your work history for us?
Sure. I've been doing my own thing, I guess is what they say, for about 20 years. I've been in different verticals, from service related to consumer goods, which I'm in now. So fast forward, it's probably the best thing to do. I'm the founder of IWON Organics. We are a snack company. We're based in the Bay Area of California. Mm-hmm. We make extruded snacks, puff sticks, and a brand new product, a popped chip. That is organic. It's made with green peas, so it's a bit higher in protein. And they are just great tasting, as many would say. Great flavors, very craveable. And so that's what we're doing.
That's great. Can you define for our audience extruded snacks? What does it mean to be extruded?
Extruded snacks would be things like puffs. That's what people would recognize. So if they've ever had some sort of puff snack product, that's what we do. For our core line, which is our puffs and our sticks product.
Mm-hmm. Got it. And so you did the 1-2 skip a few 99 today, but I want to go back to one of the things I saw in your work history is you spent some time doing at a capital investment company. Is that right?
We did early in my career. I did real estate finance.
Okay. So how has that experience contributed to, like, do you bring on funding for IWON Organics? Have you brought in outside funders?
We raise capital, but that's completely different. Those are two different types of things. I would say that if we're talking about the type of business as far as service related. So earlier in my career, I was in more of a service related business. That's sort of your trading, your sort of services for money. I enjoy that as far as I think that's a better business plan. Than
service-based compared to a product.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, I really do believe in service-related businesses as far as not only having no limitations, but you aren't as tethered to a requirement to raise capital and things of that nature. So that's right. To me, that's the biggest difference.
Mm-hmm. And so tell me a little bit about what that experience has been like raising capital for IWON.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. If you know, as they say, like if I could do it again, you learn a lot when you raise capital for a business, depending on who you raise it from, which is a key piece.
Right.
It creates stressors that, of course, are not there, you know, in the beginning. And depending again on who's on that cap table and what's really, you know, going on, it could really cause the business and your decisions to go in directions that you weren't intending. Now, for us, it hasn't really been like that because we have not taken in what I'd consider outside capital, meaning private equity or VC type money, where there's, you know, a guy or gal who's really trying to pull the strings and the like. It's people I know. But with that said, that latter comment also creates stressors. You have people that you know who you are trying to do your best, you know, to make sure that they get their capital back and more if possible. But business is tough. So you can only imagine, what happens in those types of situations.
Right. And so what kind of advice do you have for CPG brands that are out there fundraising in terms of how to find the right partner if they don't have folks that they know that they can go to seek the capital they need?
Well, today's environment is very different than it was when I first got into it, as many know. I mean, in all types of verticals, cash is limited, and again, you hear of funds that are being raised and the like, but they're being very tight. So existing money sources and or newer ones that are coming in the pipe, they're being very, very careful about where they're deploying capital, and rightfully so. Our market, this consumer market, as far as consumer goods market, as far as food and beverage, it's a very difficult business.
Yeah,
and
right.
what many have come to realize is there are far fewer exits that are going to happen than maybe what they had expected some years ago.
Yeah.
And so what happens in those situations is exactly how I described it. It's difficult to get capital, and you need to become very resourceful with how you operate yourself and your business.
Right. Which I think is a good practice no matter what, right? Fundraising or not, it's important to make sure that you have efficiency in the mindset, right? That you're focused on paying attention to what the consumer is looking for and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I really like that word. I toss it out a lot more now. It's about being resourceful. It's like, what resources? No, resourceful. Like,
right.
Do you know how to pick up a rock that was over there, and there's one over there, and there's one down here, and that's what you have to be very creative, and you have to really work. Work. And not in the common sense that most would be thinking when I describe it that way.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. Yeah. And strategic, right? In being resourceful, right? Of not only being able to see those rocks or those opportunities and those resources that are around you, but understanding which ones to leverage, how and when, for the trajectory of growth that you're looking to achieve.
Yeah, you also have to be aware of time in these circumstances as well, and that's why again the word could be sort of loose in how somebody interprets it. But I mean, even in today's environment, like somebody would be like, "Well, I just want to talk to as many people, and I want to." This guy over here is saying, and this woman over here is saying. A lot of it's bullshit. I mean, I can sniff that stuff out, within the first few minutes of a phone call. And I don't say it in a bad way. I'm just, I just go, this, I think is a good point case. The last call that I had with a potential investor, I said it out the beginning. You have money? That's how I talk, by the way. I know it is what it, do you have money? Like they're well, what is he? You know what I mean? It sounds fun because there's a lot of folks today that are fishing, and some of them do not have the capital that they claim to have. Some of them don't even claim to have it. They're trying to work deals. In down markets like this, people get really sharky. I don't say, and when I say stuff like this, I don't even say it in a bad way. It's just you have to be very careful. So going back to that original word about resourceful, like, well, what you got to be resourceful with your own time too, because you don't want to waste it. So, also it could go down a hole that you just should not have gone down, and next thing you know, you're 3 weeks into something that's going to be painful at the end. Anyway, so you understand.
Yeah. Yep. And just for the sake of elaborating on that a little bit more for the listeners today, I think what you're referring to, and feel free to add to this, is you don't want to have a conversation that is not going to get you the output that you're looking for, which is the capital investment, right? And you also don't want to be taken advantage of in terms of people listening to your pitch to take it to another potential, company that's trying to get their money or resources or whatever it is in a way that is not benefiting you, right? We're trying to take your idea or your approach to someone else.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of murky shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
I could list it. I could list it, but sure, that's like 2 of 90,
Yeah.
right? There you just got to be very self-aware, and
Mm-hmm.
again, I don't like being so sort of ambiguous, but in general, it's tough. But those that know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you extract whatever you want from what I'm saying, and reach out to me if you want me to give you some pain points. You just got to be careful.
Yeah. Yep. Great advice. So you recently made some changes to your product packaging. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Big. Yeah, we're doing it right now. So we haven't really gotten our first sweep of it yet. It's because it's kind of a long process when you're doing that.
Mm.
We did get to do it with the new innovation, which I spoke of, which is this crisp product. It's a new popped chip that we just had developed. And luckily, upon our brand change as far as packaging, we had made it for that. So on first production run, it was already there. So that when people see that, they go, "Oh, is that's what everything's going to look like?" And it is.
Gotcha.
And out the gate already, we're already getting amazing feedback. So I'll just shorten it for you. We had an original design from when we started. Just I'd almost say template, like what we look like from afar. You'd be like, okay, that's IWON, and about 2 years ago, when I saw the market turning, I got kind of panicky. And I said, oh my gosh. And mind be, we were not declining anywhere. We were slowly growing. We've never been really capitalized. We've always had to do a slow growth. We could never really put the foot on the gas. So we never really had a problem. We had places, of course, that didn't work, and some that did, but like we never were like declining in a retailer. And I just got, I just got as neurotic as you can imagine, which rifles through me sometimes. And I said, we got to do a packaging change. We got to do a packaging change. This is going to be, and we did. And we went drastic. I wanted to do a color block. So we went all red. And it was a really bad move. It was really stupid. I like to plainly, so people could, stupid.
Yeah.
It was my decision. I take ownership, my responsibility, my fault. And what we learned was that had created some not only flatness in our sales, but even some declines in some areas. It was not a representation of who we are. It was not a representation of our product line. The fact that we are a flavor first product, which everybody knows us for, and people and our consumers and customers and new customers did not like it. Fast forward, I know that, and our new change back to sort of our original model with even a gear up from it is where we're supposed to be, because I am blessed and lucky to have some friends in the industry, and some of them do exactly that. And I never had asked them or paid for or got feedback on this packaging change, which everybody should do. Everybody should invest in it. Everybody should be careful with what they're doing and putting on shelf. And we luckily got this on a courtesy, by the way. We have no money, and we're very excited about it. So that's what I could tell you.
So I want to go back though to, you said you were not declining in retailers, but you wanted to make a change. Why did you want to make a change?
I thought that if we just went for it, and again, everybody's going to have a different version of what that even means.
Yeah.
Just go do something totally drastic. Oh, I want to own a color. Like the best reference would be something like Hippies. If you were to, which some people don't even know who they are, but they're a big salty snack brand.
Yeah. No, bright yellow bag.
Yellow. It was
Mm-hmm.
more of a plan then. It wasn't like, let's do some hippie stuff. It was more like, that works. I think that's what we should do. Let's do red. I love red. Go Niners. Fuck. Anyway.
And
they're the only ones winning with red. Let's put it that way. Okay. So
and Target.
by the way.
And
just so
Target.
happens.
I'm a big
Anyway.
Target fan.
And Target. Okay, fine. So you get it. So that's what we did, and it didn't work. And we got data. It wasn't like, oh, because of the data. No, we went and got some real data and some focus groups. I had it again. Some friends in the industry went and did this for us.
Yep.
By God's grace. And not only pulled the data of what had happened with that packaging change and that specific packaging, but okay, what if we change it to this?
Yeah, right.
And they're like, go now. And so we're doing it. And it's, I just hope we make it there. I'm always very upfront. It's very tough right now. And I don't know what's going to happen in a month or 2 months or 5 months. Like it's that tight.
Right. But you feel good about the focus groups that you did for the new iteration of packaging that you're now working on and will soon launch for all products.
I am 100% certain that when this goes on shelf, we will see an improvement in velocity across the board.
Yeah.
Fact.
Yeah. Yeah. And so one of the things that we work with startups of many sizes, like very, very small, just initial starting out, like help me understand what to do to, more advanced scaling brands. And so one of the things that I often tell very early stage startup CPGs is go to the farmer's market for the exact reason that you were just explaining, right? Not everybody has friends with resources to be able to put packaging in front of focus groups, but you can go to the farmer's market. You can talk to your customer. You can understand who's buying the product. You can ask them questions, engage with them, see who's coming back again and again, right? And it's an excellent opportunity to get some of that feedback if you don't have the resources to put a focus group together.
Well said.
So, good. Yeah. Glad you subscribed to that. So let's talk more about scaling a CPG brand. You're in quite a few retail doors at this point, right? Can you talk a little bit about like kind of day one to your distribution now and the doors that you're in?
Sure. Day one, we were really lucky, which is 7 years ago. We were really lucky that we were able to launch in what I'd consider to be a key retailer, one with multiple doors. I wouldn't say that you should do this. I'm just saying this is what happened to us. Yeah. Because we are, we tout protein on our products because we have a higher level than most in our salty snack category because of not just the legumes that we use in the products, but also we do put in a little bit more protein, pea protein in the we were able to go to nutrition supplement. I had background, my background's in wellness. Everybody knows me as a health and wellness enthusiast. And so I had some connections in there. So we had a connection to Vitamin Shop and we were able to launch our first product, which is was a protein chip. We don't have that product anymore. It wasn't very good. Shout out. And so that's how we launched. And I cut the teeth. I don't know why I'm saying these cliche. I don't like that. Who says that? Anyway, we did. I cut my teeth is what they say. Huh? Yeah. Who says that? You okay? Anyway, and what does it look like to get into retail? And what does it mean? What's the margin we need? What is distribution? How do you move those trucks? Like I love, I'm big on just, you got to get in, get your, get hands dirty and learn. That's what we did. So from there, I then, how
many doors, before you continue, how many doors was that Vitamin Shop?
There's 700, 800 of them, right? So it was like, wow, we got to, I don't remember what the $100,000. It was like, oh my God, we're going to do this. Your product is like mediocre. I was like, it's okay. We're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, you thought it could be good enough to go, right? But you have to launch, especially your first product has to be flavor first, right?
Yeah,
it has to be
good. So when going, you got to have a good product. I'm kind of being funny when I say that. The product was pretty good. I say pretty good. And the reason I was doing a comparison at that time was there weren't a lot of savory protein snacks. And ours wasn't like hugely elevated. Like it was half the protein of, let's say, Quest at the time. But this is a good comparison. Quest had just launched their protein chip and it sucked. I don't care if I'm just being very honest here. Yeah. I think they would probably admit it. I don't know. But their original protein chip was not good. You could go back and sort of look at all the social hit they got. Because remember, their business was in bars. and they had a tremendous business. I'm a fan. I remember them first booth they ever had. I know some of those guys. I'm still a fan of them. I don't consume that stuff because I don't eat that way. But the brand is great. Anyway, the point was we only needed to be good.
Right.
At that point, I'm like, we just need to be better than shit.
Yeah,
Let's go. Anyway, so that's what we did. But I would never recommend that. If you're in food and beverage, any consumer product, but let's just stay here. It's got to be fucking amazing.
Right.
And not your mommy says it's amazing. Your mommy always tells you things are amazing. My mom does. Actually, I have a Jewish mother. She comes kind of hard on me sometimes. But anyway, that's a whole separate story we talked about offline. The point is, you understand, it's got to be amazing. So anybody's going to do, don't do mediocre. It's not fair to you.
Yep. So then Vitamin Shop.
You start figuring it out, doing a little distribution. Okay, what's this whole UNFI thing? What's Keiki? What does distribution mean? Okay, can we get into a regional? Let's do, who's our customer? Let's do, product market fit. You start all these things. What does that mean? Oh, it means like, who's your customer? Let's see if they like it. Our customer eventually, as it sort of grew, and then we got rid of the chips, and we did this extrusion, which is the puffs and sticks that people know us for, which it was is and was from day one. I'm like, this is the horse. People love this. I would be at my kids' soccer games. I would have people unsolicited commentary. That's, by the way, that's a big one. You know, you ask them, have a mommy come up to you. I don't know why you keep saying mommy. It sounds like, I'm 40 years old. Let's get back to this.
Well, I know you're a big dad guy, right? You're a big family guy, you know.
I'm just such a pansy. The thing is, when you have other parents that walk up and unsolicited say, I just want you to know.
Yeah. Your
snacks, like that's where you're like, I got something. I know I have something. The other big one is, which is important for people, the reason I like online platforms like an Amazon, go get your first 100 reviews. Remember, back in the day, you'd have your homies fucking on Amazon, they don't do that. Right. You know, so go get 100 random folks to tell you whether or not your product sucks. I love that. We have like 4.5, 4.4. You have those numbers. You're like, I got some. Anyway, we grew. You start putting together, okay, Wegmans. Okay, that good. That works. Okay, Whole Foods. How do we get into Whole Foods? I want a pitch slam by God's grace. Then we got into one region. Now we're in 5. But so you start putting Kroger. We had got out east. We're not in Kroger anymore. This is just the reality of our business. This is why. Number one, we were always undercapitalized. We couldn't fill at some point. We were starting to lose some of that, relationship.
Yeah, right.
That's number one. Number two is what we've defined is we may not be a quote unquote conventional type product, true conventional. Like when you're talking about Kroger East, those are, right?
Yep.
We may not fit there, and that's okay. Learn it early, or don't go and support and invest in those types of partnerships because you're not going to win over there.
Right.
So that's what we've done over this period of time. And, you win some, you lose some.
That's right. And so is it just velocity? Like, what's your benchmark of success when you consider, like a retailer and whether you're finding success in there or not, or whether they're worth going after or not? What's your determination on that?
Velocity. It's the only thing. So if you're in store, it's all velocity. Is the product moving, and where out of the number of other products do you sit? Admittingly, I always said this from day one, especially being an undercapitalized consumer goods company. I just wanted to be in the middle. Yeah. I wanted to have two or three things attached to who we were. One is I wanted them to have a good relationship with us. If that meant a good relationship with Mark, like, hey, I like that dude. He seems pretty nice. Let's do that one.
Right.
One. Number two, is the product good and differentiated in some way? Like in our case, we are. I mean, you're talking legumes, better for you, organic, higher in protein, and what? Tastes amazing?
Tastes good. Right. Exactly.
2. 3 is going to be the velocity piece.
Mm-hmm.
So do you at least just sort of sit in the middle? You don't want to be on the bottom third. What happens to the bottom third? When it comes reset time, you're out. So that's it. I just wanted to sort of stay in the middle. So that's what you'd look for. And then as far as new retailers, if you don't, hey, I don't know what our velocity is going to be, you kind of do by that time, because who is the customer that's walking in that store?
Right.
Do they look like the other ones that you're doing well at, or do they look like the ones that you suck at? That's, again, depending on your price point or what are you offering and what is your, all those other things. So.
Yep, exactly. Right. Like I know you're in Walmart, right? And Costco. You're not in Walmart?
That's another one. So we were in Walmart. That one was a different story. Again, we didn't have a big facing. We had 2 SKUs for a while and all that stuff. We got into a price thing with them. It was at this time that we had to do price ups and stuff like that. So some relationships don't work because it's not a fair partnership. Nothing wrong with Walmart. Shout out to Walmart. Whatever. We're trying to make money. I can't be like everybody else who's burning a shit ton of money every month. I don't have any more runway,
Right.
So
I subscribe to that philosophy too, that it's not a race to the bottom. It's got to work.
It has to work.
Yeah.
A race to the bottom. Race to the bottom doesn't work. Most of this doesn't work, just in general.
Yeah. Right.
So it shouldn't be this new wave of, well, we got to be profitable. We were starting to do that a while ago, before all this. Like, hey, we got to have good margin. Is it kicking off margin? Is there contribution margin? Like, is this real? Or are we just like basically putting a $20 bill attached to every case that gets shipped out? If you do that, your business sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, it just does. I don't mean to like hurt people's feelings and stuff.
But I think it's an important perspective too, right? Because also people see stories of like Liquid Death and AG1, right? That had just massive, massive marketing budgets behind them to push the consumer purchase, right? But in spite of the bottom line, not in support of the bottom line. Like I recall when Liquid Death announced that they had like a $700 million valuation and they were upside down, right? So it's like, what are you really working toward? Are you trying to build the next WeWork, right? That's all smoke and mirrors? Or are you really trying to grow an actual business that, is doing something meaningful?
I don't usually do this. I'll just give a general comment. Yes. Yes. To be fair, like I like a Liquid Death. I'm not a consumer, but I know, I kind of follow that guy, Mike. I think he's a talent. I think he is, the team that he has built is a talent above and beyond most in our industry. So I want to be fair in the general. That's a brand. Although it could be said, because everybody would have different opinions, some are like, oh, they got all this money. I don't really do it like that. It is what it is, right? Somebody's got a rich uncle. Somebody doesn't have this. Somebody's good. This guy wants to go IPO. This person is a Harvard alum, so he's got a bunch of banking buddies. I don't really give a shit.
Right.
It is what it is. Yep. That's life, folks. So in their case, I actually think they're one of only a few handful of real brands. Can it carry on past, like, if they were to IPO, which I think they probably will, because they're going to need a shit ton of money to keep this up, which is all good. Does it carry on for 20 years? I have no idea. I don't even care. The point is, everybody has their own situation. It's whatever's in their hand. So I know mine. That's the only one I really care about.
Right. Yep.
So,
and I'm not knocking the brilliant brand. Very smart marketing tactic. But I think where the challenge comes in is that people have to understand that was a very different business model. Very different business model.
There's a lot of those, though. I in my back pocket, I know the story of a lot of folks, and that's just, I've been privy because I'm in the circle, you know, like
Right.
people give me the info and I keep it I don't like to, I get worried about talking to anybody. There's some really murky shit that goes on in this business. And I always like to follow that up with, but it happens in every vertical.
Right. Totally. Absolutely.
Except Billy's landscaping. See, that's why I go back to the Billy's landscaping is friggin' amazing. And so is Jimmy's landscaping and Susie's landscaping. Those are real businesses. Yeah. Those are built on just a very simple unit economic. Hey, I walked up to 196 Peter Street and I got them to give me the job every week for $200 to mow their lawn.
Yep.
Do that 25 times and my expenses, I got it. Thank you. Anyway.
Yep. Something to be said for that. Yes, totally. You are clearly a fierce advocate for wellness, both physical wellness and mental health. Can you talk a bit about that passion and some of the things that you're doing too, like you do Dads in CPG, the Feel Good Wellness Challenge? Talk about that a little bit, because I think the mental health aspect is a unique differentiator.
Yes. Thank you. I've developed and am developing what I consider a health and wellness platform. I didn't really know that that's what was happening. Like on LinkedIn, like I was originally just talking about my experience and in business and these things I did. I started writing on there about 5 years ago. I've done it every day since. And it goes all over the place, though. But now people who follow me or are connected with me, they know sort of where I go. And one of the big ones to me is health and wellness. I've always subscribed to a wellness lifestyle. And I've only now stepped that up even further over the last few years. And I talk about it openly. And so I love it. I just got off a call with another gentleman. I love health and wellness and what it does for us. And I love to help people. And that's it. And so what I realized was I got to do something about it. I might have these small product or projects on the side. I did a cold plunge thing. But this wellness platform that I have called Feel Good Wellness Program is for men. I just started it. I've already got guys in it. And it's a program for guys who are looking to level up their health. And it's something I can help with. So we talk about nutrition and exercise, but it's more than that. We're in a private group. We're in a private setting. We can chat. They can talk to me every day about certain things. And it's about just leveling up. Because what I noticed was over many years, but really now honing in on that and talking to men, we're all dealing with some shit, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Women are too, but this is where I could really help. Being a dad, I understand. And men, we're these like sensitive, but we don't want to be sensitive creatures, and we don't know what should we tell somebody that and I want to get rid of all that. I want to get those layers off. And if we have to do that in a private setting, I'm totally down with that. I'm very excited about it, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. And I started my first newsletter. I'm doing a weekly health newsletter that just went out. I got 2,000 people on there already.
Good for you.
I'm like, this could be something freaking amazing.
Yeah. Right.
And so that's what I'm doing.
I think the other thing that's, and you've talked about this before on LinkedIn, that it's about following what you're passionate about, right? And sort of just leaning into what this platform that you're building, you created because you were passionate about it. You were and are, right? And that's what led you to want to build it. And so you're building it. And then if it later becomes a bigger thing, cool. And if not, and you're still just doing it because you want to support people that, you think you can help, then great. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes. Yes. It's, I call it running towards your light. And it's a mixture of all these things, but I could just tell you, it's actually was what I wrote about this morning. I feel pretty fucking good. And I just want to share that with other people because I am you. I've been through the ringer. I'm still, and it's not easy. Like I deal with so much stuff. but I can just tell you of these things that I've been doing daily. Yes, I'm probably more disciplined than most, but we can practice it and maybe practice it together.
Yeah.
I just, no alcohol and eat well and movement and get outside and get good sleep, like things that we can all do. And I just want more of us to do it more often because we're going in the wrong direction. You ever seen these charts before? They're really bad.
Right.
They're bad. And it's because we're so full of shit. I don't know of another way. We fucking lie to ourselves all the time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for anybody who needs to bleep those out. It's just I'm very passionate about it. I just want us to stop with that. And I'm not saying it's easy. It's hard. But the only reason I'm able to talk on it through experience is because I've also done the reverse. I've gotten in my own way my entire adult life.
Yep.
Through the drinking and the this. Can you imagine? Look at me right now. I'm sober for how long? Can you imagine me when I drank? Anyway, so just so people know, I get it. I just want us to all come together and support one another and do this thing. That's what,
Yeah, that's great. Running toward your light. I call it the pursuit of interesting. Kind of following that. What is driving you? What is sort of inkling to you from one direction or another? Future. So this is my last question and then we're done.
Yep.
Future, next steps, what's happening? What can people look for from you for the immediate future? New packaging on shelf, more promotional posts about what you've got going on and what's driving you on LinkedIn. What else?
The core one is IWON. Like, I really want IWON to work. It's something that we started, and I want to take it to the promised land. So I'm praying that we can get there. We need some working capital stuff and just get through this year is how I look at it. Then I'm going to do these health and wellness, which again, because we're moving to no seed oils. So it was the last thing that I needed to do because I don't believe in them. And so our crisps are no seed oils, but we're moving our sticks and puffs there by the end of Q1. So it's big. Like it is, to me, this is a health and wellness platform and one I can really push. The other stuff I'm doing is this men's group. And I'm very excited about building it, some newsletter stuff, just bringing a community together. And then there are a couple health-related consumer products I'm just doing because I could not
that you're going to launch.
I could not get rid of the itch, but they're just they're small projects, just like the cold plunge was. I do it kind of at night for like an hour. It's an itch. I have to do it. You're going to see it. It's fun stuff. Anyway.
Very cool. So the cold plunge that Mark is talking about is Feel Good Cold Plunge. You launched a hyper small, like, cold plunge product.
Simple.
It's like a blow up tank, right?
Simple.
Yeah, for your backyard. I am highly intrigued by cold plunge. I haven't gotten myself into the water yet, but I am on the curious side.
Start with showers. You're good.
Yeah. Good to know. Thank you. This was fantastic. For everybody listening, if you're not already following Mark on LinkedIn, you should go do that. He brings all of this personality and energy to his daily posts on that platform, and you'll be inspired, if nothing else. Thank you for listening to Spilled Salt. I'm Maureen Ballatori. For more information about the podcast, visit www.agency-29.com. If you have questions for me or you'd like to recommend a guest for a future episode, you can send a message using the contact form on the website. Like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode.